Good evening. I now call to order the regular town board meeting for the town of Arundequoit, September 18th, 2018. Visitors are invited to join the board members in rising to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Hutcheray. Councilman Crutico.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Supervisor Seeley.
I am here, Madam Clerk.
An attorney for the town. Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to come out. We have some pre-agenda items that we're going to do before we get to our regular body of business. And I'll just note, I know we have some resolutions that are lower in the agenda relative to hiring and appointments. I'm going to take some executive privilege and move those up to the beginning part of the agenda, which hopefully we will get out of the way before our public hearing. We do have one public hearing tonight regarding a proposed location of cellular towers. There's also an existing open public hearing from last month relative to a special use permit. If you wish to address the board on those particular public hearings, I encourage you to sign up. They're listed by public hearing. Of course, as always, we do public input where you're able to address the board on any topic. We will do that likely before the public hearing. You're welcome to sign up for that as well. With that, a few remarks before we get to our pre-agenda ceremonies. Last night, actually yesterday afternoon and last night, I joined Police Chief Tantillo, a number of other stakeholders, Deputy Supervisor Perticombe, for the first annual Arundequoit Police Community Forum, which was largely organized, which was organized by Chief Tantillo with help of other members of the town organization. This was a localized event of a broader initiative among law enforcement and various stakeholders throughout the greater Rochester region that has been taking place over the past few years, the goal of which is to strengthen police-community relationships. It was held yesterday at the public library. We were the first town to hold a local event, a non-regional event, so we're proud of that. We had a very good turnout, several dozen participants. It was very good dialogue that took place in facilitated sessions, and that's going to help develop a strategic plan for the IPD, which will be presented at a meeting in the coming months. So thank you to all those who took part in the event, and kudos to Chief Tantillo and his staff for the job well done. Just a budget update. At present, I am working with the various department heads on the 2019 town budget, which I will present to the board in early October. As always, we are confronted with relatively fixed revenue and ever-growing demand for services, all operating in the context of wanting to protect taxpayers. The goal is to present in October to the board a document that is balanced, ideally lowers our tax rate, and enhances the return on investment for our residents. On a less serious note, we had a very successful Oktoberfest, our 31st annual, the past 2 weekends. I'm always hesitant to use the word record-breaking, but one of our longtime vendors reported that they had their most successful night ever on the first Saturday. We had some new kid-friendly attractions this year, which seemed to be a big hit. And we're very pleased with the two-week festival, So kudos to all of our team for organizing that and the hard work. And kudos to the weather for cooperating as well. Tomorrow I will join Senator Rich Funke in announcing a grant secured by the Senator to fund some much-needed security improvements near and around our public safety building, which houses our police department and our courts. We will actually be taking up an agenda item later to adopt and authorize that. This will include new fencing, motorized gates, as well as some security cameras. So thank you to the Senator for securing that funding. With regards to our other state legislator, Assembly Majority Leader Joe Morelli, we're grateful for his efforts to secure $250,000 for the town, which will almost certainly fund a new cabin at Camp Eastman. We made some more minor updates to Camp Eastman earlier this year, but we're excited about the prospect of being able to build a new cabin, which I believe has not been done in a generation. We're always looking to update our physical space there, so I think that'll be a nice addition. We're also grateful to Majority Leader Morelli for securing $150,000 in infrastructure dollars, which will allow us to significantly augment our paving budget next year. Some upcoming events. Our final movie under the stars is the new American classic Coco, this coming Friday, September 21st at 6 p.m. The movie will begin at 7:30, or around 7:30. Pre-activity movies start at 6 p.m. with a trunk or treat. We'll have a bounce house and other activities. Make sure to come dressed in costume because Halloween can never come too early. As we've done with other movies this year, the movie will have subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing residents. So make sure to bring your blankets, chairs, and bug spray, and help us celebrate the end of the beginning of school and the coming of fall season. And I'll note our farmers market continues every Thursday at 4 p.m. until October 18th, and we've actually, due to the shorter days now, we're done with our evening entertainment, but have had a super year thus far. So again, that's every Thursday starting at 4 p.m. until October 18th. I'll note on October 1st, there will be a Knowledge and Prevention Open Community Forum, which will take place at the Arundecoit Public Library at 6:30. This is the first of several forums that will take place, each of which will feature a different topic. This forum will focus on the opioid epidemic and will feature a panel of experts from a wide range of backgrounds. We encourage the community to come out. It's being done in partnership with the county, our school systems, the IPD, and our Arundecoit Town Drug Prevention Coalition, Defy Arundecoit. For more information, contact Lindsay Snyder at 336-2927. A reminder, finally, at last week's Town Board Workshop, we recognized our great town building inspector, John Nitty, with our Staff Spotlight Award. We do that every month. So we thank John for his broad service to the town, and we love doing that every month, and we'll continue to do so to recognize and honor our hardworking staff here in our town organization. With that, I'm going to invite the board members to join me at the podium, and I'm going to do a proclamation first, and then invite Chief Tantillo to join us for a second proclamation. So board members, please join me. So we on frequent occasion recognize broader national either movements or efforts or initiatives. But often when we do that because a resident comes forth and has a personal attachment to that initiative or that effort. And this month we're happy to and proud to advance a proclamation recognizing September as National Childhood Cancer Month. I'd like to actually welcome up Holly Dutcher to join us at the podium. While she's coming up, I'll give her a brief biography. Holly is a resident of Arundecoit and also the executive director of the Cure Childhood Cancer Association. You may have noticed the gold ribbons on many of the town trees that were recently placed. This is in recognition of this being National Childhood Cancer Month. Holly recently approached us about having the town work to raise awareness for childhood cancer, and we're happy to do so. Cancer is the leading cause of death for children 15 and younger. More than 15,000 kids are diagnosed with cancer annually, and 1 in 5 will not survive. Cure Childhood Cancer is a local organization that's nationally recognized as an innovator in peer-to-peer support for families with children diagnosed with cancer and blood disorders. There's an event coming up which I will let Holly explain, but first I just want to briefly read a truncated version of this proclamation which we're happy to present on behalf of the town board. Whereas a great society is only as great as those organizations that perform exemplary service on behalf of community, and whereas the Cure Childhood Cancer Association, a locally based organization dedicated to serving those children in our area who are diagnosed with cancer, as part of its mission works to increase local awareness of the prevalence of childhood cancer, and whereas it is vital that we as a community understand that there are families in our area who are fighting childhood cancer every day, so we can assist and support them in the hopes of strengthening their resolve to face this difficult disease. And whereas September is the nationally recognized month for childhood cancer awareness, and whereas as in all things we as a community strive to support and show compassion to one another and hope that through our efforts those who are facing the challenges of pediatric cancer can know that they are not alone. Therefore now be it resolved that I, Supervisor David A. Seeley, on behalf of the town board and the entire town of Arundecoit, join with others across our state and country in recognizing September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and offer our support in raising awareness about the fight against pediatric cancer, so declared on this day, the 18th September 2018. So, Holly, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We commend you for your efforts, and please give Holly a round of applause.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's so important that people know about childhood cancer. It's obviously not something that you want to think about, but on average in Rochester, about 50 children are diagnosed every year. Our organization was founded in Rochester and is completely funded locally, so all the support and the awareness truly makes a difference and lets people know that they're not alone. So hopefully you've all seen the sign in front of the library and the ribbons in front of the town hall as was mentioned, and it's just sincerely appreciated that the town is getting behind the movement of raising awareness for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
And I believe on October 14th is your 10th annual Recipe for a Cure. It's a Sunday brunch that's done at the Riverside Hotel downtown. It's done in conjunction with the American Culinary Society, YUM. For more information, you can visit curekidscancer.com, correct? Okay, well, thank you very much, and kudos to you for all your hard work, and we really appreciate people like you that are the heart and soul of initiatives like this, so we're very happy to do this. Thank you so much. Oh, you wanna do a picture? Okay, I will now ask the chief to take over as MC, Chief Tantillo. The town podium is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we take the opportunity to recognize individuals in our community who have really gone above and beyond what the expectations are, and we're very fortunate to have some caring and giving people in our community. And we award the Making a Difference recognition to those individuals that really assist those in need. And tonight, if I could have Jacob Toth come forward, please. Jacob. And Sage Luttrell. No Sage. All right, Jacob, front and center. And is the operator of the motor vehicle here, right? Jerry, why don't you come up? We had the opportunity of recognizing, would you stand next to Jacob? Recognizing two of the individuals at our National Night Out ceremony, and the others couldn't make it. But here's a perfect example of the kind of character that individuals have who live in our community. So on July 3rd, 2018, as Mr. Jacob Toth and his friends, right, from Arundecoit High School, were in the area of Thomas Avenue and St. Paul Boulevard when they noticed that a motorist was in distress. And at that point, the motorist was in the company of her husband, right? And there was a medical emergency occurring and some immediate action needed to take place. Oh, I'm sorry. I need St. Paul Fire up here as well. Sorry, gentlemen. Otherwise, they won't respond to my house. Jonathan Keys, okay, Jonathan Keys, you're right, because my son said that, but thank you. So Jonathan Keys. All right. I apologize for that. Someone will hear about it tomorrow. Good to see you, Jonathan. Both of these young men, not that they're getting this award as a result of it, happen to be friends with my son, but these gentlemen, along with two of their other friends, right, were in the area of St. Paul and Thomas Avenue, and they noticed that this individual was in distress. Her husband was attempting to assist her. It was a very chaotic situation going on. As a result of the immediate action that these young men took in notifying 911 and getting medical attention to Jerry, we feel as though they did an exceptional job in perhaps saving her life, as well as Sage Luttrell, who was able to offer medical treatment. So as a result of their actions and the good citizens that they are in our community, and this is the future of our community, ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to present the Arundecoit Police Department Making a Difference Award to Jacob and Jonathan. Congratulations. Now we have the Arundecoid official photographer right here who's going to take your picture. Good job. Good work. Hang on to it. Thank you, Jerry. Next, if I could have Maddie Krenzer. And there you are, Maddie. Come right here. And if I'm going to say this correctly, Gia Van Gorda. Very nice. If I could have the Arundecoid police officers that responded to the incident at Haramas, along with our friends from St. Paul. And we have Haramas staff here as well. So in this case, the whole family's here. Oh, you ladies good. All right. Nick, why don't you go over on that side? That's all right.
I thought it was your right hand man.
You are, but this way then they can work down the line. Get closer, don't be shy, Nick, now all of a sudden, all right. So on September 3rd, 2018, a customer suffered what was an apparent heart attack while waiting in line to cash out at Haramas Food Market. Miss Maddie Krenzer and Miss Gia Van Gordo were two employees that were working in the front of the store and immediately called 911 and rendered CPR to the customer until ambulance and fire personnel responded to the scene. Exceptional example of good Samaritans and good citizens. Although the individual unfortunately passed away, Maddie and Gia's quick actions allowed the customer to get back his heartbeat while he is being transported to the hospital. And we certainly want to acknowledge our St. Paul Boulevard Fire Department and our Arundecoid officers that responded to the scene. But it's individuals such as yourself that add true character and good citizenship to the town of Arundecoid. And we're very pleased that you took the initiative to help someone in need. So as a result of that, it's our pleasure to present the Arundecoid Police Department Making a Difference Award to Gia Van Ordo, congratulations. And to Maddie Krenzer. Job well done, good job. Yeah.
They want you in the picture too.
Yeah, I'm sure, well, I do shop at Harris.
That's a nice job.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks.
All right, so this concludes our pre-agenda items. If you're not here for the rest of the meeting, we take no offense that you leave. We just ask, the noise does carry in here. We're going to have some public input. We want to make sure the board can hear the public. So it's a nice night outside, perhaps go in the parking lot. But thank you all for coming, and have a nice night.
Is there any way to get a hold of pictures at any point, do you know?
Pictures of,
The presentation they just did.
oh. I don't know.
What's that? Lauren, this woman would like to know how she can get copies of the picture. Can you just make sure she gets a business card? Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, we can now move on to public input. I have to go get the public input sign-in sheet. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, we have 3 individuals signed up for public input. If you did not sign up, you're welcome to address the board on any topic. I just ask that you wait until the 3 individuals who had signed up have their opportunity to speak. First up is William Beanie, 291 Rock Beach Road.
I'm William George Beanie of 291 Rock Beach Road. The topic is town communication. The town of Arundecoit has a pressing need for a reliable private channel of communication, that is to say, by written letter, between town residents and elected board members. The supervisor is aware that the security of the town website is compromised from my letter to him on July 16th. Further, his written response to me of August 18th arrived having been ripped open, not by me, and not by my mailman, and I'm sure not by him. Currently, a communication to the town and from the town is not to be trusted as regards privacy. Without an upgrade to up-to-code communication, the town of Arundecoit can be characterized as a dysfunctional, prejudicial system which serves the interests of the town employees, not the people of Arundecoit, and therefore renders itself open to corruption. Thank you. Good night.
Good day, sir. Okay, next up, we have Chris Murray, 329 Clark Avenue. Good evening.
Pleasure to speak before you this evening. I bring to you the concern of the intersection of Clark Avenue and Dick Street. Last month, on this date exactly, I was in a car accident there. Part of the causation of that accident was on the left-hand side, the corner house there has routinely overgrown shrubbery, which has since been cut. But on the day of the accident, now just to give you an idea of how overgrown the shrubbery was, I stand at 5'6". The shrubbery itself was probably about 5'10". Now, this intersection is also home to a bus stop as well. This intersection is also the only through street along that corridor that is not a four-way stop. Cars regularly zip through there. A while back, there was an accident where there was a pedestrian that was struck. Now, it is my concern that this intersection itself may be home to a fatal accident if it does not become a four-way stop. In fact, if you ever were to sit there and just watch the way people drive through there, you would have great concern, especially considering that that intersection, as I said before, is a bus stop. Thank you.
Thank you, and I will huddle up with my Commissioner of Public Works and our police chief tomorrow, and we'll go out and take a look at it and get back to you, okay?
Okay, so you have my information so I can...
We do, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Richard Miller, 41 Villanova.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Arundecoit Town Board. My name is Rich Miller, and I represent the entire Arundecoit Little League Board of Directors, young gentlemen and ladies who play baseball with us and softball. I come before you today as a board member, a coach, but mostly as a father. I want to commend the entire town board for the support that we have been given as a league. These tremendous fields in the entire facility where our softball players and baseball players play up to 6 times per week. I would also like to speak about the tremendous second annual Wood Bat Tournament that was held on the weekend of August 9th through the 12th, in which we introduced the Home Run Derby. That was a tremendous time. We had teams from Penfield, Pittsford, Webster, and a couple of players actually drove up here from Syracuse, New York to play in this tournament. It was an overwhelming success for our Little League program, and everyone I spoke to said it was classy and a fantastic time. Out of that tournament, we were able to learn how to use the wonderful concession stand that this board approved and built for us. And we would like to give a shout out to Senator Rich Funke, whose name adorns that concession stand. My intentions here today to explain to this board how much your support means to Arundecoit Little League and young gentlemen and young ladies who play in our league. We have over 600 participants throughout the year, whether it's spring, travel, or fall ball, which is going on right now. I spoke to a coach from Penfield last week that was up for a game, and he asked, how are you maintaining these fields so good? Because in Penfield, with that rough drought, they couldn't maintain their fields. I said it's because of the support of the town board, and it's because of the town of Arundecoit that maintains our fields. I want you all to feel that appreciation. I'm standing before you asking for that continued support in the future for Arundecoit Little League. Our job as a league is to raise young gentlemen and ladies who learn respect, discipline, and a sense of pride from being a part of a team. And I will say right now that I believe we do an amazing job under our executive board of Dave Calerco, Sarah Barrell, Matt Gordon, Eric Lewis, and Pat Montana. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, you have given us a venue to do our job, and we as a Little League board promise to deliver on that. We are creating the next high school players and the next college athletes that will come out of Arundecoit, whether they start in T-ball or they go all the way through all of our divisions. I implore you all to take a bow, because we appreciate all you do for us, and I will ask you again for your continued support as we collaborate together to make Arundecoit the place to raise our young ladies and gentlemen as a community. On behalf of all of Arundecoit Little League, as a family, and as Rich Miller, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that's the first time we've been asked to take a bow. Thank you. I'd like to thank my fellow board members for not getting up to take a bow. But thank you, sir. I appreciate the kind words, and we enjoy working with all of our youth sports leagues. And best of luck on the continued success of the Wood Bat tournament, which Councilman Perticone has already challenged me in the Home Run Derby next year. So
I'll be there.
he's a big talker. Would anyone else wish to come up and address the board with public input? All right. With that, we will move on to our financial report. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, financial report. Madam Comptroller.
Thank you. The 2018 financial results as of August 31st, 66.7% of the year has elapsed, and the town's total expenses are slightly lower than budget at 64.9%. A total of $22,448,000. Encumbrances are $1,718,000, and actual expenses total $20,730,000. Please note that the actual expenses alone equate only to 59.9% of budget. Regarding encumbrances, they typically remain sizable during this time of year as departments continue to commit to services, supplies, and commodities that will be needed for the remainder of the year. The general fund expenses are below budget at 63.9%, or $13,248,000. The actual expenditures are 59.5% of budget, $12,343,000. The other 4.4% is due to $905,000 of encumbrances. Collectively, the expenses in the highway funds are $3,885,000, 69.6% of budget. That's above the 66.7% of the year that has elapsed. The costs result from considerable expenses and encumbrances for gas, fuel, salt, and equipment parts as projected. Expenditures in the library are above budget at 68.5%, $1,581,000. The current overrun is due to debt service. The annual bond anticipation note payment of $346,000 for the library was made in a prior month. Therefore, the current unfavorable effect is due to timing and should level off by year end. The sewer fund expenses of $2,553,000 are favorable to budget at 62.4%. Expenses in stormwater drainage are approximately 43.8% of budget, a total of $346,000. The general fund has received revenue of $17,150,000, 84.5% of budget. The real estate tax of $10.8 million has been collected. 88% of payment in lieu of tax revenue is in. Another $25,000 is due by October 1st, and we'll put that line item at 2.6% over budget. The town has recorded 5 months of sales tax revenue in the amount of $1,693,000, 39.2% of budget, as well as mortgage tax for the first quarter of $133,000. Other major revenue sources such as franchise cable fees and per capita state aid are not due yet. The recreation program fees of $285,000 are currently favorable to budget at 87.6%. Included in other sources of revenue are Metley Center settlement proceeds of $450,000, $218,000 of settlement costs associated with Comida and the Target and Holiday Inn properties. Also, $1.7 million of insurance recovery for extra expenses incurred by the town's operating departments as a result of the highway garage fire. Regarding the entire town, $29.4 million, or 86.4% of revenue and appropriated fund balance has been received to date. The total real estate tax of $16.8 million makes up 57% of that total. At month end, the library had received a revenue of $2,244,000, 97.2% of its revenue budget. 81.8%, or $4,505,000 of revenue has been confirmed by the highway. 100.4% of the sewer fund, or $4,085,000 is in. Stormwater drainage has also verified 100.1% of its budgeted revenue, $764,000. This concludes my financial report for the month of August. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Any questions or comments on the financial report? Take a motion to accept the financial report.
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The report is accepted. Madam Clerk, I'm going to now ask you to move on to items 15 through 17, which we will do, and then we'll move on to our public hearing. These are under Human Resources.
Item number 15, authorizing the hiring of an office clerk 3 in the Department of Community Development.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Vinette?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Due to a retirement in the Home Improvement Grant Office, there's a vacancy for an office clerk 3. This is a competitive position, and we did canvass the residential list and selected Karen Panchishin.
Thank you. Ms. Collier, anything to add on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just want to give a shout out to Karen. Karen has been a wonderful part-time employee under Nancy Shalacy, who recently retired from the position, and we're confident that she will continue the great work for the Grants Office and the Arundecoit Home Improvement Program that Nancy did. So thank you so much, Karen.
So, our IHIP program is so invaluable to our residents, and Karen worked with Nancy, who retired, and we were sad to see Nancy go, but it was the hope that when we put this open, we would be able to bring Karen on board, and we're very happy to do so. She's been a terrific asset in our community development office. She's a joy to have around, and very happy to support this. Any further questions or comments?
No, congratulations.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Karen, would you please stand up and wave to the crowd? Congratulations, Karen.
number 16, authorizing the promotion to a motor equipment operator in the Bureau of Public Works.
Motion. Moved. And a second. Second. Mr. Kylie, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'll kick it actually over to Director Vanette
Oh,
to
excuse me.
bring this forward, and then I'll speak to it afterwards.
Director Vanette, please.
Thank you. There's another retirement, this one in the Department of Public Works, a motor equipment operator, and this is with the blue collar unit. This position is non-competitive, and we posted according to the blue collar contract, and the department selected Donald Gilardi.
Okay, Mr. Kylie?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm very pleased to put forth the name of Don Gilardi to be promoted to motor equipment operator within the Highway Department. Donnie is a 6-year veteran employee of the Highway Department and a very versatile candidate for this position. Mr. Gilardi is competent in many different pieces of equipment, which is really key for this position within the department at this time. He's had his CDL since 2013. He is one-person plow trained and is going to be a great addition to our ranks as an MEO within the Highway Department.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Congratulations on this appointment. It's always good to elevate folks in our DPW, and we congratulate Mr. Gilardi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. I can't see out there. Is Mr. Gilardi here? He is not.
not here
Hopefully he's
today.
watching at home, but we congratulate him and look forward to seeing him in this capacity. Madam Clerk?
Item number 17, authorizing the hiring of a police officer recruit.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Vanette?
Mr. Kylie kicked it over to me. So,
We need like you gotta hold up like a stick or something. Hot potato.
thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is to fill a vacancy within the Arundecoit Police Department for a police officer. The candidate that we're recommending tonight is William Ficara. He is currently on the eligibility Monroe County Civil Service list for police officer. He has completed all aspects of the selection process, which have included an interview before the Lieutenant's Police Officer Candidate Panel, which also has a town board representative, medical exam, psychological testing, and an intensive background investigation conducted by the Arundecoit Police Department. He has an excellent employment record. He's been a volunteer at the Laurelton Fire Department. He's an Arundecoit resident, and he comes highly recommended by all of his references that were interviewed. So we're looking forward to him joining our police agency.
Thank you very much. And always good to bring on people invested in the community, and we congratulate you on this. You're joining a terrific police force, and I know public service is something you already value, and this is a continuation of that. So thank you for serving your community. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Mr. Ficara, please stand up. Congratulations. Congratulations to all those appointments. We don't require you to stay till the end of the meeting. You're welcome to, but congratulations and have a pleasant evening. And with that, we can move on to our first public hearing. Madam Clerk.
Public hearing number 1, on the matter of granting a special use permit for the approval to co-locate and operate 7 microcell wireless telecommunication facilities in the R1 residential district.
Okay, I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is open. I'm going to call on Ms. Ivers for a brief explanation of what the board is, a brief explanation of the proposal, but mainly what the board is considering in this, perhaps granting the special use permit.
Thank you, Supervisor. The application before you is really for 7 discrete microcell locations in the vicinity of Hudson, St. Paul, Thorndike, Daly. I may be missing one, but there are 7 locations in total. Each of them represent an existing RG&E utility pole that would be replaced with a new pole that's equipped with microcell technology. The item is also subject to planning board review, which is currently underway for site plan. And these locations, because they're in the right-of-way, also required zoning board approval for the clearance zone requirements. The zoning board did already grant the area variances needed for all 7 sites. So in looking at this, this is really a special use permit as laid out in our telecommunications code. And microcells are new technology and really aren't captured, and so we're following the process that's outlined for any telecommunication tower located in the town of Arundecoit.
Thank you, Carrie. First off, board have any questions for Ms. Ivers?
No, the packet was very well put together.
We discussed last month as well. So with that, I'm going to ask the applicants or representatives of the applicants to come up. We have all of the material up here to reference, and if you could please just state your name and where you're from and who you're representing.
Good evening, members of the Town Council. My name is Jared Lusk with the law firm of Nixon Peabody, representing Verizon Wireless. With me is Mark Kuhn from Verizon Wireless, responsible for the small cell program in upstate New York, as well as Colin Fazio. Josh Doolin. Josh Doolin is the RF design engineer responsible for designing the network in this area of upstate. We're here because I submitted 7 different applications. I won't bore you with continuing to go through each application. They're similar, but the reason why we have proposed these 7 microcell applications, and I know that I've been before this board in front of some of you for microcells in the past, as outlined in the application, Verizon Wireless currently has 2 existing macro facilities servicing the area where these microcells will be installed. They are the Hoover Road site behind the St. Paul Boulevard Firehouse and Seneca Towers site. And each of those sites are currently at capacity. We heard from some of the residents that spoke before the Zoning Board of Appeals. People that live in these neighborhoods are having difficulty getting access to the Verizon Wireless network because they're not able to make calls because there's so much information passing through the network that, frankly, there just isn't enough capacity on the network to be able to accommodate the events, whether it be calls, texts, or download of whatever, or the Internet of Things that's operating so many things in the world around us. As a result, Verizon has said, okay, we have a couple different ways we can solve this problem. One of them is to install a series of microcells, 7 of them in this case, in that area to draw the traffic from the areas in the immediate vicinity of these antennas, and that traffic will be handled by those microcells, and thereby adding additional capacity to the 2 sites I mentioned, the Hoover Road and the Seneca Towers site. So that's really the reason why we are doing the projects. Before I get into the specific details of each site, do any of you have any questions as to why we're doing what we're doing?
No, but before folks answer, I just want to give the 7 addresses that are proposed just up front, so folks who are watching at home know where we're discussing these potential locations. They're 180 Wimbledon, 2523 St. Paul Boulevard, 2924 St. Paul Boulevard, 11 Daly Boulevard, 184 Thorndike, 2101 Seneca Avenue, I believe, and 1862 Hudson Avenue. I just wanted folks to know that it's a large application, even though it's on the cover sheet of each. It's not in the actual hearing notice, so I wanted to be clear. And with that, I'll yield to board members if they have any questions to what the gentleman said up front.
No.
So, as the need is identified, Josh and his team and Colin and his team are tasked with placing these 7 sites strategically throughout the area that is right on the cell edge. Again, all this is in the application, the edge between the Hoover Road and the Seneca Tower site, and the area that's toughest to be serviced by because they're so far away from those existing sites. And so each one of those sites were identified. Each one of them is an RG&E utility pole in the right-of-way. And what each site involves is about a 27.5-inch antenna that's about the size of a 2-foot tall that's mounted on the side of the utility pole and up between the electric and the other communication wires that are on the facility. And on each pole is also the radio unit that sits, and that's about a 2 feet by 4 foot antenna facility or radio that sits right on the utility pole, along with an electric meter and other associated improvements. In each one of the applications, we provided a simulation and a site plan of what each site will look like. Again, relatively small, the earth tone and color to blend with the color of the surrounding utility pole, et cetera. Again, designed to just blend in with the existing utility infrastructure that's already on the poles and deliver that service.
You have some sort of you have a MOU or agreement with RG&E, correct?
That's correct.
Is there any? I don't even know if there's legality of this, but is there any possibility of co-locating cells on RG&E poles on one pole?
Though it's possible, it's going to be completely up to them in terms of what they allow on their poles. So,
But there's no state law precluding a carrier from doing that, co-locating cells?
no, again, there's multiple communications facilities and things already on the facility. So if other things fit, I think it's a matter of does it fit in their pole with structurally and with the spacing in between the different utilities that would, I think, trigger that. But that would be, I don't think there's nothing in the law that would prevent them from putting two, that I'm aware of, the 2 or 3 wireless providers on the same pole. Is that likely? Probably not, given the tight spacing on the pole, but there's nothing in the law that would prevent it.
I think the good news is that if they can't put it on that pole, there's probably one 40 feet away.
True.
It is remarkable that you're correct that there are other poles. If they have the large transformers already on them, I think that they don't, that's preventing them. So although they'll go on many poles, they won't go on all of them. So there is some strategy to the way RG&E places them.
Now this is for 7. Now, eventually down the road, just asking the question, will these fill up too, and then you'll have to expand for more? It depends on the information. It's just a.
They are so close to the homes. Again, as I said in the application, that the growth, the data use year over year is exponential. So is it possible that we will need more of these? I guess it depends on how much data
That's what I was getting at, the growth, but, because when I read that, okay. I know you don't know right now, but it's a possibility, right?
I imagine that if additional microcells were needed, they wouldn't go here, for example. They would go put them adjacent to grab that traffic so that, again, I doubt very much we'll be putting more in this area for a while. There's so much other area to cover.
Okay.
This is a relatively, small chunk of town. Do you
Yeah,
foresee subsequent applications of other, eventually this being built out through the entire town?
I guess I'll leave that to Mark Kuhn to answer.
Mark, I know who you are, but just say your name and where you're from.
For the record, Mark Kuhn with Verizon Wireless Network Engineering, 1275 John Street, West Henrietta, New York. Yes, the small cells are meant to address capacity need with, basically, phones, the phone is just an app on your handheld wireless device now. The use of wireless devices are growing like crazy. In upstate New York, we're experiencing a doubling of data volume on our network every other year. So, it's a technology meant to address the growth in data usage. So yes, I'm sure we will be expanding to other areas in town. And of course, the technology is also evolving to soon to come the next generation. You might have heard the term 5G. The next generation of wireless service. Not quite ready for upstate New York. The company has announced 5G going into commercial deployment in 4 cities this year. If that answers your question. Hopefully it is a growing technology.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Plan to be back with more.
And I assume Arundecoit, we're not the only municipality right now that you're plan to have these clusters and before planning zoning town boards right now?
No, we're busy all over the state.
I know you're busy in Erie County last year.
We still are busy in Erie County. I did want to just specifically, your code requires under tab L of each application, it's the same document, requires us to put in a plan for the future.
I see that, yes.
And so that is, we've provided that. These are some clusters that have been identified to go in the town of Arundecoit and the surrounding area. So you can see there's several in the city and then an additional cluster in Arundecoit.
And to that, I would note that is a plan, that's a snapshot in time. So that was the plan when these applications were filed, which was early August. But, you know, as I noted, the data use is constantly growing and the technology is changing. So it's a very fluid plan. And, you know, the next application that we bring before you, I'm sure you'll see a different plan than what's in these applications.
Okay. I'm not sure if this came up in planning board, but can you speak to noise? If there's any?
Yeah, these, the proposal before you, they're passively cooled units, so there is no noise. A lot of times noise is associated with like cooling fans, so there's no cooling fans, no HVAC needed. They're finned units, so they're passively cooled.
One other quick question.
Go ahead, Kimmy.
Do you foresee these ever completely replacing the macro towers, or will they always be a partnership like having a boost in your house?
Go ahead.
No, they will not replace they're really like supplemental to the macro network. You know, kind of think of them as helpers underlying the main macro network.
What is in place if these become obsolete and need to be decommissioned? Are they just going to be left on the pole, or will they be taken down? Is there anything in place?
Your code requires us to commit to taking them down and to provide appropriate mechanism with the town for those to be removed in the event that they become obsolete. We haven't, I've been doing this for, since 2006. It's hard for me to do math late at night, but I haven't heard of us decommissioning a site yet, and we keep adding because the demand is so high. So again, they may become obsolete, but it's more likely that we will, as I've seen, we'll end up upgrading the existing equipment as opposed to not using it anymore. So there'll be a different antenna, upgraded antenna that gets installed as opposed to the taking them offline.
Any further questions? I don't know if we have any folks here for public comment here, but if we do, I might ask you to come back up. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience we didn't have anyone signed up, but would anyone wish to address the board on this public hearing? Okay. Board members, any further questions for the applicants or Ms. Ivers? All right, with that, I'll take a motion to close public hearing.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. We will not be taking up a resolution on this public hearing this month. I will likely be advancing next month, and we thank you for your time, gentlemen. With that, Madam Clerk, we can move on to the public hearing held open from August 21st, 2018.
On the matter of granting a special use permit for 2256 Hudson Avenue, ESL Federal Credit Union in a mixed-use commercial district.
Thank you. The public hearing is already open. We have the applicant here again. I believe since we met last month and had the hearing, the applicant's been before both just planning board or planning and zoning, Carrie?
They've actually been before the planning board and received site plan approval. They've also been to the zoning board and received the required area variance.
Site plan approval was consistent with the application, perhaps with a few modifications.
Yeah, some very minor modifications to facade and signage, but very similar to what was presented to this board as part of the special use permit. In terms of the drive-through facility, there was no change from what you were presented.
Okay, thank you. Okay, would anyone in the public wish to come up and address the board on this matter? With that, I'll invite the applicant to. We heard from you last month.
Sure.
I don't know if you wanted to go over any modifications that were made by planning board or any new information you had.
Matt Tomlinson from Marathon Engineering. I just wanted to mention one thing related to traffic and internal circulation, because that was a question that the board raised last month. One of the changes that was requested by the planning board as well as Monroe County DOT was to allow for one-way entering only on the south entrance and exiting only on the north entrance, and that change necessitated connecting this parking lot through so that the circulation
worked a little bit better as far as separating branch traffic from drive-through traffic. And we did receive a letter from Monroe County DOT just approving the traffic impact study that we had prepared just approving the change that we made at the recommendation of the planning board.
Okay.
That's pretty much it for changes.
Thank you I appreciate you coming back to explain that. Board members, any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay. Everyone good? All right, with that, I'll take a motion to close public hearing.
Moved.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is closed. Madam Clerk, we can now move on to 8PH-1.
Adopt a resolution in the matter of granting a special use permit to operate an ESL branch with drive-up windows on premises at 2256 Hudson Avenue in a mixed-use commercial district.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this special use permit? We had the public hearing. We thank the applicants. We thank the other subsequent boards for their review as well. And looking forward to seeing the investment in the town, I think. We thank ESL for investing in that portion of town. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
And approval of minutes?
Yeah, we can go to approval minutes before we forget.
August 14th, 2018 workshop meeting.
Okay, motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
One.
Hushler Ray abstains. Minutes are approved.
August 21st, 2018, the regular town board meeting.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, we'll move on to number 2 under community development, please.
Item number 2, authorizing a 2018 tax levy on 62 Seaview Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14622.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, explanation, please.
Thank you, Supervisor. The resolution before you would add the all costs and expenses associated with the town ordered demolition and removal of the unsafe structure located at 62 Seaview. You have before you, in your, attached to the resolution, a summary of the charges that comprise the total charges associated with that action, including legal services for notification and title, research, the engineering, our engineers' services for air monitoring, the controlled demolition, and as well as the staff time or town staff time associated with taking this action. The property was demolished and the site is now secured.
Thank you. It was demolished yesterday, correct?
It was, correct.
Well, an unfortunate necessity, I suppose. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 3, authorizing 2018 tax levies.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Perticone. Ms. Ivers, an explanation, please.
Thank you. This is the annual resolution by which any unpaid property maintenance or code enforcement fines and fees are leveraged or levied against the individual properties. The resolution actually calls for any uncollected fees or fines through September 30th. The application or the resolution has an attached levy spreadsheet that indicates all unpaid fines and fees that we have to date.
Thank you. I'll note 2 things. The amount to be levied is less than last year, which, if you look at it from a revenue point of view, you might look at that as a negative, but I look at it as a positive. I think we're doing a better job with enforcing our code, with managing some of these problem properties. I'm not going to say this is a trend or that we're, claim victory, but I think we're doing a good job in managing these problem properties and getting in touch with whatever entity owns or manages them and making sure that the properties are attended to. It's still far too much, I'll note, but we continue to, I think, work in the right direction. And contrary to what the County of Monroe might say, these taxes are guaranteed by the county under state law. Any questions or comments?
No, thank you for the clarification.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, calling for a public hearing on the matter of granting a special use permit for 1661 Hudson Avenue in a C Business District.
Motion.
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ivers. Explanation, please.
This is a proposed new business located at 1661 that will feature auto repair services open to the public, as well as ancillary or secondary used car sales in the C Business District. Both of those are subject to a special use permit by this board. The applicant is also navigating a revised site plan under the new or proposed occupancy and use, and they're before the planning board this month. There is no physical site changes associated. It's just a change in the business type and combination.
And the zoning is C business, Carrie?
The zoning is C Business.
Okay, and upon adoption of this resolution, we'll call for a public hearing to take place, I believe, 7:35 next month at the regular town board meeting. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 5, pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, with respect to the sale of a portion of the parcel tax ID number 092.08-1-27.11, located on Bayshore Boulevard across from 1372 Bayshore Boulevard.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Kiley, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The next two resolutions are tied together. The first resolution is the State Environmental Quality Review, and the second resolution is to declare surplus property and authorize its sale. First, the first resolution, the State Environmental Quality Review. The town was approached by the resident that resides at 1372 Bayshore Boulevard, inquiring to purchase a piece of town property directly across the street from the residence. Several years back, the town executed the sale of a piece of property along this would be the west side of Bayshore Boulevard, to the exact dimensions of the home located on the east side of Bayshore Boulevard. That, of course, started the trend of homeowners along the east side of Bayshore to inquire for purchase from the town the piece of property directly the dimension of their property along the east side. And so the town was approached to sell this 1.56 acres of property of a 53.485 acre parcel that the town currently owns. The resident seeks to purchase this property. Again, about 100 by 70 piece of land currently owned by the town to construct a garage, a detached 20 by 20 garage. The proposed site is flat with grasses and shrubs. The sale of this subdivision of land does not have a significant adverse impact to the environment, and as such, a negative declaration is recommended.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions on the seeker for this resolution? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 6, declaring surplus and authorizing the sale of a portion of the parcel tax ID 092.08-1-27.11, located on Bayshore Boulevard across from 1372 Bayshore Boulevard.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Madam Clerk, I promise that's the last resolution that will have a parcel ID number in it, but I know Michelle Nichols from our Planning and Zoning Board probably doesn't sympathize too much with you. But anyway, as Bob mentioned with the previous resolution, this would declare for surplus and authorize the sale of portion of property along Bayshore Boulevard to Joseph Prestigiacomo. The fair market appraisal of the property is $7,000 and was completed on September 2nd, 2017. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct.
It is correct. Just want to make sure. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Just a point of clarification, because I had a call from a constituent. So it's the mirror image of the actual frontage of the property, not a structure, not a curb cut, but the frontage of the other property, correct?
The frontage of the property. This would allow other residents residing along the east side, if they so chose, to approach the town for their dimension of their property along the west side. So the exact dimension of the property that is currently on the east side is being replicated along the west side.
Thank you, Commissioner Kylie.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk.
Item number 7, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with St. Paul Boulevard Fire District.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Kylie, explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution authorizes the town to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the St. Paul Boulevard Fire District. Over the last several years, the town has made it a point to enter into agreements with our fire districts and school districts to allow services that the Department of Public Works can provide to those districts, to those municipalities. This resolution would allow the town to conduct work at the St. Paul Boulevard Fire District property along Cooper Road. Those services could include paving, resurfacing of any parking lots, sweeping, any sanitary or storm work, grounds and maintenance, snow plowing, among other work that the Department of Public Works has expertise in.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions on this matter? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk will table the next agenda item pending an amendment. Please move on to number 9.
Item number 9, declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Kylie, a brief explanation, please.
Thank you. The town Department of Public Works has certain equipment that we seek to declare surplus. The list of surplus property is attached as addenda A to the resolution, and this equipment would be destined for the fall municipal auction.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the Commissioner? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 10, authorizing the highway superintendent to purchase equipment at the fall municipal equipment auction.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Commissioner Kylie, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the town board would authorize myself and labor foreman, auto mechanic labor foreman Mark Newman to attend the fall equipment auction held at Monroe County Fleet for the purposes of purchasing used heavy highway equipment. As this board is well aware, the town does seek to continue to purchase vehicles within certain set years to replace our equipment that was lost during the fire, specifically equipment lost during those years that we now have a hole within our equipment replacement schedule.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments on the matter? We continue to diversify our fleet and add to the bag of Skittles that is our highway department. Yes, that's correct. Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 11, authorizing the acceptance of a $50,000 grant from New York State for town park enhancements.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Kylie, brief explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the town board officially accepts $50,000 worth of funding secured by Assembly Majority Leader Joe Morelli to install fire detection and occupant notification equipment at our camps at Camp Eastman, all 5 of the structures to upgrade the facilities.
Thank you. Much needed. Any questions or comments? Thank Majority Leader Morelli for securing the grant. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, I'm now going to ask you to go back to agenda item number 8, please.
Item number 8, awarding the town hall campus security fencing.
Motion? Moved. In a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'm going to offer an amendment to one, two, three, four, five, sixth whereas clause, which references seeker. Madam Clerk, I'll hand a marked up copy to you, but I'll just read it as I propose it to be amended. Whereas the town board determined that the project is a type 2 action pursuant to 6 NYCRR section 617.5C7, construction or expansion of a primary or accessory apportionment non-residential structure involving less than 4,000 square feet of gross floor area. We just wanted to make sure we had the correct seeker, I guess, explanation. Madam Attorney, anything to add there? Nope. Oh, wow, I said it perfectly. Okay. So, do I have a motion to accept that amendment?
Moved.
The second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the amendment is accepted, germane to the resolution, and I'll now ask Mr. Kiley for an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution, as amended before the town board this evening, officially accepts the bid from New York State Fence in the amount of $46,800. This bid was for some perimeter fencing around and beside the police department located at 1300 Titus Avenue. This bid package does include 2 motorized gates to allow officers and command staff to enter the facility without having to swipe. They would pull up, similar to what you would see at an Easy Pass style toll booth, and enter the facility, and then the gates would automatically close behind the police officers.
Thank you. Chief, anything to add?
Security. Okay. All right. This would certainly enhance the security for the entire public safety building, not only for the officers and staff members, but certainly for the public that does visit our facility.
Very good. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. We can move on to, we are jumping all over the place. Agenda item number 12.
Item number 12, authorizing the annual audit of the town courts.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Seeley, explanation, please.
The New York State Office of Court Administration requires that a resolution by the town board, requires that there is a resolution by the town board to authorize the examination of the courts. This resolution basically affirms that the annual audit performed by Bonadio includes an examination of the town courts, and that a separate document is produced summarizing the examination of the courts. And this, a copy of this resolution is filed with a copy of the audit filed with the New York State Office of Court Administration.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 13, authorizing an amendment to the 2018 police budget.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. We recently authorized the appointment of a police officer, a transfer officer from Wayne County pursuant to state law, and I'll let Chief explain this. We're required to reimburse Wayne County for a certain portion of the expenses for Police Academy. Chief, would you just like to add to anything to that?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Per New York State General Municipal Law, if we hire a candidate from another municipality within a 3-year period, there is a reimbursement factor. It is prorated. This is an exceptional candidate that we were able to hire. We do have the funds within the budget as long as we are able to make the transfer, and certainly the transfer of the funds, and certainly getting this officer on the street, if you will, working much quicker than a recruit officer will ultimately save us overtime costs.
Very good. And I'll just note, we do this via resolution, so we're not, so that the town board is authorizing transfers like this. There's moving money around within the department. It's a big budget, and certainly there's room for it, but it's been a long-standing town policy to have the town board authorize such transfers as this. Correct, madam?
That's correct.
I believe you helped write that policy, correct? If I say so, okay. All right, any questions or comments?
Actually, that's New York State.
It is New York State, okay. Well,
It's a New York State law.
very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 14, authorizing a grant application from the Justice Court Assistance Program.
Motion?
Moved.
A second?
Second.
Mr. Mary, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the board seeks authorization to apply for the Justice Court Assistant Program Grant for the 2018-2019 grant cycle. As you know, the court applies for this funding each year, and we hope with this application to build on the success that we've enjoyed over the last 3 cycles to continue to improve the court and its facilities.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? We wish you continued success in securing these grants, and the court looks terrific over there. They're doing a nice job, and hopefully this will enhance on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. I believe we are jumping now to number 18, Madam Clerk.
Item number 18, adopting a local law to amend Article 2 and Article 7 of Section 222 of the Code of Arundequoit relating to the traffic devices prohibiting right turns on red.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. As we've said in the past 2 meetings and held a public hearing last month at our August town board meeting, this would really just clarify and simplify the process by which we approve right-on reds, no right-on reds in the town. We're also omitting a unnecessary portion of our town code that really just restates, but is at odds with state law, given state law permits right-on reds unless a municipality states otherwise. So simplifying the process and aligning it with how we handle our stop signs, just to provide some consistency. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted, as is the law.
Item number 19, approving the special event license for the Rochester Running Company Robin Hood Racing LLC, Run Like Hell 5K.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's with heavy heart that I advance this, because this used to be the Johnny's Run Like Hell, but Johnny's recently announced that they're closing up, and they've done a terrific job with this race, and I'm glad to see it's carrying on. This runs right by my house, and the Laurelton Fire Department was here earlier. They're always good about helping out with traffic control, so glad to see it continues. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
And item number 20, approving the special event license for the Finger Lakes Regional Burn Association's annual burn walk within the town of Arundequoit.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. This is a craft show organized by the Seabreeze Volunteer Fire Association to take place on Saturday, September 15th. No, wait, is that correct? Am I looking at the right?
Sunday, September 30th.
Must have the wrong.
September 30th.
Oh, I'm looking at, forgive me, I'm looking at the wrong resolution.
Sunday the 30th.
Thank you, Sunday the 30th, forgive me. Can I just, thank you. This is the Finger Lakes Regional Burn Association's annual burn walk, which will take place on Sunday, September 30th from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. We've had a lot of special license permits recently, so I was mixed up. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Pursuant to Section 105 of Public Officers Law, I now move that we enter into executive session to discuss the proposed sale of real property, the public discussion of which thereby may impact the value. Have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I do not need any town staff. a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, our meeting is adjourned. Next workshop meeting is Tuesday, October 9th, 2018 at 4 PM. Next regular town board meeting is Tuesday, October 16th at 7 PM. Meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT, Government Access. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT, Government Access.